What we're going to do first with our game is we're going to guess some people and try to figure out their colors. And if they're introverts, they glow internally, the energy goes in. Or if they're extroverts, their color beams it outward, and that's how they get their energy. So let's go first. I'll go first, right? Let's think of Dolly Parton. Dolly Parton, I would guess, is blue. I've heard some of her songs. I've seen her talk. She appears to really lead with her emotions. Obviously, she has some yellow in her because she's pretty creative. She's got some leadership skills, but I would say her dominant, bold color would be blue. And if I had to guess, I'd say she's probably an extrovert. Now, I don't know Dolly Parton, so I could be off. If you know Dolly Parton, or if you are Dolly Parton, correct me, put it in the comments, or just tell me what you think and why. We're up for discussion. So the next person I would guess will be a green. So who would be a green? How about Bill Gates? He's clearly a green, right? He's very technical. He likes to tinker. He likes to figure things out. So I'll go with Bill Gates. So would Bill Gates be a introvert or an extrovert? I think he's an introvert. I read a story once where Bill Gates was tasked when he was in school to work on their computer system that they had back then. Back then, there were really big computers, as big as, I don't know, a bus or at least a Suburban. He was tasked with working on those, and he did. He was supposed to be working on the schedules and making them automated and stuff. So he was working on that. But at nighttime, instead of going to parties, instead of dancing or karaoke or doing things you might think somebody in school would do, instead he'd sneak up to those computers and he would tinker on them. And what he did was he made the algorithm where all the cute, interesting majority of girls were in the classroom, the computer would put Bill Gates so that his schedule coincided with cute girls. He was a guy, right? So that's what he did. Now I would say he's an introvert because he went up there and he did it, and that gave him his energy, right? But if he'd been an extrovert, he would have been bragging about that. He would have made a PowerPoint, showed people how he did it, and he would have got his energy or his batteries filled from being that guy that got the attention from people on how smart he was. I think he was an introvert. Could be wrong again, so I'm just guessing here. So let's think of a red. Okay, well, I think the Dalai Lama is red, but let's go with Mother Teresa. The reason I want to go with Mother Teresa is I think she's very, very interesting. You're going to argue with me and say, Pam, I don't think she's red. She's blue. Why aren't you saying she's blue? Pam, she's blue. She's kind and thoughtful and nurturing. And I would agree. She definitely has some blue, but I think her dominant color is red. And the reason I say that is because, now you're telling me, well, she was an icon. Yes, she was a leader and an icon. She had a passion for what she saw that she thought needed to be done. And she was able to get that done. She was organized, decisive, bold, right? I think she was. In addition to that, I think she's so interesting, and I'm going with her, is I'm pretty sure she was an introvert. A red introvert. I think that is really interesting. And now you're arguing with me again. You're saying, no, she's not an introvert because she's this world icon. Look what she got done. And I'm telling you, I believe she was. And this is a really good point, that introverts glow on the inside, right? Have you ever been in a room where someone comes in and the energy in the room's kind of upset? Maybe something's going on. Maybe you're in a meeting, a CFT meeting, or something with a foster child, and people are upset. And somebody walks into that room and just their energy, it's peaceful. It's calming. Just being within there, you're like, I can breathe. And that energy that you were just so tense and stressed calms down. I think that was Mother Teresa. I think she had yellow because she had charisma enough to get people to follow her. She's red because she's a bold leader. And she's an introvert because I think the way she did it was with the glow, not with the beam, right? With the glow. I could be wrong. And if I am, you tell me why you believe I'm wrong. So we've done green and blue and red, and now we're to yellow. So of course we have a lot of comedians that are out there that are extroverted yellow. Robin Williams, I think he'd be a pretty good example of somebody that was a yellow. I would guess he was an extrovert, but I have seen on different interviews with him claiming that actually he was kind of, I mean, I can't even believe this, but he would say that he kind of liked getting alone and recharging. And, so maybe he was an introvert. I mean, that's not what we see as the public, but I would guess an extrovert, but I think he might have claimed that he was an introvert. I don't know. Maybe he was joking. So think of other people and try to guess their backpack color and the flow of their energy. Are they an extrovert? They beam. Are they an introvert? They glow. So now let's go on to something else. Okay. What would the colors do under stress? Let's hypothetically just pretend that we have criminals and how they got there and what their colors look like. I mean, this is all just for pretend, right? Okay. Let's think of a blue. Husband comes in, because it's always the husband. I'm a girl, so there's some bias there. Husband comes in and he says, yes, I've been cheating. I don't love you anymore. 10 minutes for you to pack and get out. And the blue might respond emotionally. They're so upset. They're so mad. Their emotions are just out of control. They are triggered. And they murder that person. They murder that shirt. They murder that cheater. And they do it without even thinking. It's a response. They just act on it, right? In a fit of passion. That's how I would imagine blue. And again, we're not talking about value systems or integrity or any of that. We're just talking about the worst case scenario, criminal, and the colors and what they might look like. Let's think of something a green would do. Same scenario. Guy comes in. I have been cheating on you. I've decided I'm in love with her. I don't like you anymore. And you know what? You just need to go. Now the green might say, oh, okay. Pack up and leave. And in their mind, they're thinking, you've done it, buddy. You're dead. But I'm going to do it in such a way that I will never get caught. It's going to be the perfect murder. I'm going to think it out. I'm going to premeditate it. And you're not going to see it coming. And that's how a green might respond, right? Because a green is logical, thinks things through. A blue is emotional. And again, we're talking just the one colors, not the rainbows of how it actually works. Okay, how about a red? Well, if you're a red criminal, you're probably the head of a mafia or of a gang or something like that. So maybe somebody might not want to mess with you. But let's say they did. Same scenario, somebody comes in. Hey, I have been cheating on you. I've decided I don't love you. And you just need to go. And the red might say, well, hold on just a second. Hold that thought. Pick up the phone and call one of their minions and say, hey, I need some kneecaps broke. And then when you're done with the kneecaps, maybe blah, 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 and then throw them in a ditch. The red, he's a leader. He's going to tell somebody else to do it. And he's going to tell them exactly how he wants it done, right? So now we're down to yellows. What would a yellow do? I don't know. You come in and you tell a yellow that, I don't know what a yellow would do. But I do think that if a yellow was to commit murder, if we found a yellow in prison that's guilty of murder or death of somebody, I would guess it'd be some kind of adventurous double dog dare or mishap, that in the pursuit of something maybe not a good choice, but something that they thought would be funny or thought would be an adventure that went wrong. That's you know, maybe you can think of what a yellow might do in that scenario. I'd like to hear about it. So that's our game. I hope you can come up with some other maybe movie stars or people we might know and kind of identify what you think their color and their glow or beam is. So what do I want you to do? Well, I want you to seek the joy. I want you to find the good. But the most important thing is I want you to know that you are loved. I'm not just saying that you are loved. There are people out there that are better off because you're in it and because you get out of bed every day and you do it. And I know sometimes you're just like, I can't do it, or I'm not doing it well, or whatever. You are, no matter what your role is. I know that you're a good person and I appreciate you. Okay, till next week. See you later.